In today's video, we're going to be going over our first freeze video. We do this every single year, and you guys have been looking forward to it. And a couple of videos ago, I announced that I'd be making this video alongside other videos that you guys love, like our snowfall forecast, our annual average snowfall forecast, our when to expect your first snowfall video, one of you guys' favorites, and then also our fall foliage video, which will be coming out soon as well, because some fall foliage comes in late August. So we need to go over that very, very soon. So there's a lot of exciting videos coming up for you guys. By the way, before I get into things, I wanted to let you guys know that I'm going to be in a Marvel video of a good friend of mine's, just discussing Marvel movies, the most underrated Marvel movies. And a little bit later on, maybe next week, I'm going to be in a most overrated Marvel movies video as well. So a lot of those are coming up. I'm going to link it in the description and the pinned comment down below, the one that's coming out today around 12 or 1 p.m. So you guys will be able to check that out. You'll hear my voice. You won't see me, obviously, but you'll get to check out my takes on some Marvel movies. So if you are into Marvel movies, go ahead and check it out. Show him some support as well. Be sure to subscribe to his channel, like the video, and leave a comment down below letting him know that I sent you guys. Thank you so much. Now let's get into our first frame here. This is our late August frame. So this is our first frame, and anywhere in the whites here that we can see is where we expect our first freeze to start here in the later half of August. So that comes up in just a few days. After August 15th, second half of August, late August. We see that also some of the mountains here in Oregon expect their first freeze. This is all based on annual averages, by the way. So keep in mind that this is just me going over the averages. This is not some sort of forecast. It could be later or earlier than this, but your annual average historically is going to be what this is showing. It is pretty low resolution, so keep in mind that there will be some spots where it's a little different because, you know, you're either lower or higher elevation, etc., but it should be fairly close. Now our second layer here, early September. So all of these pink regions outside of the white regions is where we expect our first freeze in early September. So we see a lot of areas, mountainous areas in here. First off, in this region here of the Rockies and kind of the Cascades and Sierra Nevadas as well. We also see up here in northern Maine, northern Minnesota, and northern Montana, we have some pink areas as well, where we do expect that first freeze to occur in early September. I can't believe we're only like 2 weeks away from early September. Guys, this year is flying by. It's absolutely flying by. And I'm getting kind of excited for fall and winter now. Personally, me and my girlfriend have done a lot of, the beach this year, a lot of being outside in the sun, and I feel like I've gotten my share and my fill of the heat really this year. So I'm excited. Let me know in the comments if you guys are excited or not for just fall and the cooling temperatures. I saw in the grocery store yesterday already some Halloween and fall time themed things starting. I think it's a little bit early for that in my opinion, but it's whatever. But that was a little bit exciting, not gonna lie. Now, let's get into our third layer here. I'm rambling on. Late September here. So this is when we start to get a big chunk of the United States. The pink and the white regions there, that's kind of your more mountainous regions. Not a lot of populated areas in there. I can only see really Denver is the only actual large city. Salt Lake City as well. Salt Lake City and Denver are the only two big time cities that I see in here that are in the pink or the white regions. So the magentas, we start to get a lot more areas involved here, just land mass in general involved here. Still really no big cities in here actually, but regardless, we are seeing a lot of land mass, so a lot of people are affected by that magenta region. Also notice, not only do we have this now massive region here in the west and the north central United States where they see their first freeze by late September. Not only that, but we see that also northern Michigan and also a lot of northern New England sees their first freeze by late September here. So I think that's definitely worth noting. Again, that's only going to be about a month and a week or so from now. So maybe about 40 days from now, this is where we will be. Football season will be well underway. A lot of people's leaves will start to change around late September, early October. Crazy to think we're only about a month away from things like that. Things will be significantly cooling by that point for the most part. Very crazy stuff here, guys. Now, our next layer is going to be our early October layer. Now, we do definitely get some big cities in on this one. I see cities like Minneapolis, Chicago, Detroit, Indianapolis. Um, let's see, almost Kansas City right on the edge, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Buffalo, New York, Albany, New York as well, Syracuse as well in there, I think. Boston, Massachusetts, there you guys are included, Cleveland. So we see a ton of populated regions here in this early October region. So that's going to be October 1st through 15th, obviously. Like I mentioned, your early October will be the first half of the month. Your late October will be the later half of the month. That's kind of how these are going. But definitely, we're getting a big chunk of the United States. I'd say about half of the United States sees their first freeze by October 15th here, by the looks of this map. Not population-wise, but definitely when we're taking a look at landmass-wise. Now, our next layer is going to be our late October region. And now we're seeing about 2/3 of the United States already seeing their freeze by the time we're reaching November 1st. So late October, again, it's going to be your 15th through the last day of October. We could see Kansas City, St. Louis. We see Cincinnati, Columbus, Cleveland, Nashville. We see, let me see if there's any other regions. DC, Baltimore in there as well. Philadelphia, New York City, definitely Boston. If they weren't on the lighter blue, they're definitely in the darker blue. Richmond, Virginia as well in there. Charlotte, North Carolina. Even the northern Gulf states are seeing their first freeze by the time we're reaching late October. So Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and even a little bit in upstate South Carolina there. Things are a little bit hilly out there. The elevation definitely does play a big part of that. But even states like Arkansas as well. Very, very interesting stuff there. So by late October, you guys will have seen your first freeze. Very, very interesting. Now, another layer here is going to be your early November layer. So this is going to be our more southern states, obviously. We see the West Coast. The Northwest Coast is early November. Things stay kind of warm there for quite a while along the coastline. You have that Pacific air moving on shore, so that's why you guys are so behind. Even though you're so far north, the Pacific air definitely neutralizes everything for the most part. We see a lot of areas, even along the Mexican border here, involved. We see Dallas-Fort Worth in here as well. We see Atlanta. We see Norfolk, Virginia in this. Oklahoma City. Little Rock, I think, is in there. Let's see if there's any more. Raleigh, North Carolina as well. So we see some bigger areas definitely in this. And we have one last layer here, and this is going to be our November 15th or later. So basically late November or even further on. Some of these areas, I mean, the very southern areas, it's going to be your very peak of winter where you average it just for like a week, maybe seeing the chance at a freeze. So that would be probably like the second week of January, first week of January time frame in there for a lot of these southern areas. So it really does vary a lot. We see a lot of California sees theirs later in the fall, even into the winter. We see a lot of southern Texas as well, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina. A lot of the Gulf states here, it's going to be November 15th or later. So that's generally what we're taking a look at here. Now, that is our final layer here on our first freeze forecast. But what we want to do here is just remind you guys of our temperature forecast for the upcoming fall. Now that we have our fall forecast out, go ahead and check that out as well. I'll link that in the top right corner here. But not only that, we also have our winter forecast. It's a little bit outdated now. I will be making an updated one, but we'll be going over the temperature forecast for that as well. So first things first, our fall forecast for 2022. Again, you can go check it out still, even though I'm showing this, because there is still a precipitation forecast and an overall forecast as well that you can check out. But we do expect below normal temperatures here in the northeast and the north central United States. And these areas, it's really going to cause their first freeze to potentially happen a little bit earlier. So keep that in mind. You saw your averages, but this could happen a little bit earlier due to these areas being below normal temperatures. Again, go check out the fall forecast for the full breakdown. But we do have warmer than normal conditions expected underneath. So for a lot of this deeper south and the southeast, and then a lot of the west, especially, they're dealing with some warmer than normal conditions. And this could cause your first freeze to happen a little bit later than normal. So keep that in mind. These things do play a role in that, first freeze happening. But regardless here, it should be fairly close to your average. That's just typically how things are going to go. It's more the coastal regions where things can get a little bit iffy because the water staying warm does play a role. Definitely something to pay attention to, I would say. Now, here's our winter forecast temperature anomalies. And as you can see, for the wintertime, we do expect warmer than normal conditions along the east coast and the southwest here. So that's where we're expecting warmer than normal conditions at this point, where this could play a role as well in your first freeze. And later on, we're going to be making that first snowfall, things like that. This will definitely impact that as well. But we can see to the north, especially the north central United States and the northwestern United States, we expect below normal temperatures. So that could lead towards more snowfall chances for areas, especially on the further south extent here. And then also, first freeze could happen a little bit earlier, although for a lot of these areas, it's happening in the fall time. So this won't play too much of a role in that. But definitely for snowfall, it could lead towards things happening earlier, and it could lead towards things happening much, much more. That's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a comment down below if you're excited for fall. Let me know what you're most excited for. I'd love to hear from you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.